Welcome to another episode of Casual Cinephilia, where enthusiastic amateurs talk very passionately about movies. I'm Ian.
I'm Lorian, and today we are talking about It Chapter 2.
Which, for those of you who don't know, it's 3 hours long.
3 fucking hours long. I was not aware. I showed up for a 10 p.m. screening, and I felt like I had traveled through time when it ended, and I looked at my phone, and it was 1 a.m.
So I went 9 a.m.
At least I had told you already.
Yeah, you told me. Thank God. So I found the earliest showing possible, so that
good call.
That my day wasn't entirely consumed by watching a singular movie. Uh-huh. And of course, I mean, it's not the first 3-hour movie we've watched. I mean,
no.
Endgame, but
not even close. But
yeah, but it just, I was not expecting it to be a 3-hour film. But that being said, it didn't feel like it was 3 hours long.
It didn't. It had some weirdness going on with the length. Mm-hmm. It didn't feel correct.
Explain.
But it wasn't. Okay, I
think I agree with you, but I want to hear your perspective on it.
I feel like they either needed to really trim it up and make it that 2:15, 2-hour movie, or just let fly and put the 4-hour full cut out. Because it felt a little looser than like a nice, tight, succinct movie, and a little lacking for a really long, full everything movie. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, it totally does. My biggest critique on it is it was so long, but they used footage that was in Chapter 1.
Did they, though?
They did. There was a couple scenes that were...
But, like, seconds.
Seconds, but it felt rehashed.
Sure.
And I get that it's them trying to relive, refine the... Oh, spoilers. We're going to be spoiling everything about this movie.
And the first one.
Which
will probably spoil not all of the book, but significant chunks and the main theme.
Yeah, because...
But not the ending.
Not the ending, yeah. Of the book.
Of the book. We're spoiling the ending of the movie.
Yes. But, like, the plot line of Chapter 2 is the adults being called back by Mike to regain their memories.
Sure.
Like, that's a huge plot point, is their token memories that they'd forgotten.
Right.
And then they have to sacrifice those memories to fight it.
Right.
And I felt that even though this was a masterfully crafted film...
Oh, yeah.
It didn't respect me as a viewer to remember the first movie.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. I didn't think there was enough of actual footage for me to feel that way, because they did a lot of new footage with the kids, de-aging them digitally.
Yes, which was very impressive.
And I felt like, taking into account that all those scenes were going to be in there, I wasn't bothered by the little tiny bits of actual original first movie footage, but obviously that's just me.
Fair enough. But, I mean, other than that, this is a beautifully filmed and edited and crafted movie. It's hard to even call it a horror movie.
Yeah.
I feel like I was laughing more than I was scared.
Yeah, there were, I feel, more jump scares in this one than in the first. But that it was much less scary in the long term. Yeah.
Because, the first one had very, not existential dread, but there was just this underlying sense of fear and dread that you were scared around every corner.
Which this one had a bit of. It was more segmented. It was more, you could feel the start of the suspense happening.
Yeah.
And you knew when it was coming to a head.
Yes.
But it was also 3 fucking hours long if they'd kept you in suspense the whole damn time.
It would cause heart attacks.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just going to go out there and say, I mean, hot take.
Uh-oh.
You know, one of my token, not very hot takes. Bill Hader is a gem.
I love Bill Hader. I fucking love that guy.
He made this movie for me.
Yeah.
He was so good. Like, the cast was phenomenal. I loved the cast. But Bill Hader as Richie
I loved it so much.
sealed it for me as a phenomenal film. And just his portrayal of that character was so good. And he was so endearing. It was so good.
Yeah.
I kind of looked into the plot because I've never read the book because it's a
Same.
1,000 fucking pages.
I got out of the theater and was like, shit, we need someone who's read the goddamn book because I don't know what's different. I know that it's different, but I don't know how it was originally.
Yeah.
And I was like, tried to get Jacob to come guest host because he has read the book, but he didn't have time to watch a 3-hour movie and then devote a day to recording or whatever.
Who doesn't have
so I was
3 hours?
This is going to be fine. I watched the movie Thursday night. I can just get that audiobook down as I do my work week, but it's 45 fucking hours long. I didn't even have enough time to listen to it between Thursday and now, which is Monday.
Yeah. It's so long. Yeah, it's like...
So we're both ignorant.
It's
here.
like 1,075 pages, which is insanely long. Man. But so I did the Sparks notes. I looked at...
Great. Me too.
of the different things. The whole Richie Eddie subtext is not in the book, apparently.
Right.
And I loved that.
I did too.
It added so much more depth.
My hot take is...
Uh-oh. Your hot take might actually be a real hot take.
Maybe. I didn't love the actor playing Eddie.
Really?
He was by far my least favorite of the adult losers. There was something about him that felt almost theatrically large in his interpretation of Eddie. Like, the other adults took the traits of the kids and sort of milked them down the way that people age. Yeah. And Eddie just sort of kept going strong with the same exact things, which I get can be the way that neuroses like these work. Yeah. They don't always water themselves down, but it just felt larger than the other adults were playing it, and it stuck out to me. It didn't ruin the movie at all. Yeah. Like, all of the relationships with Eddie and all of the interactions still worked for me, but every time he was on screen, I was like,
That's fair. I can see that critique, and though I don't necessarily agree that he was my least favorite of them, I can see what you're saying on that.
Sure. Who was your least favorite of them?
I don't know. I think the thing that got me was the least favorite character, even though I loved every single one of them. Sure. Was Mike. He just... Nothing against the actor. Sure. Because I love that actor.
Yep. No one will ever forget those Old Spice
the
commercials.
Old Spice guy. But it was hard for me to believe that he was able to convince Bill.
Sure.
Because a couple of moments, like, after the Chinese food scene, even though that was a pretty convincing, scene. Sure. He just seemed raving rather than... convinced or convicted. He didn't feel convicted. He felt mad.
Sure. Yeah, I can get that.
But, I mean, that's really the only reason that he's, not my favorite.
Yeah.
It's not that he's my least favorite.
And that was more of a writing thing.
Yeah,
anyway.
It's more of a script thing than anything. But I get what you're saying with Eddie. I did love the scene, though. It startled me when he got stabbed in the face. And then pulled it out and stabbed the other guy with it. And he was like, he's in my bathroom and blood's coming out of him his mouth. Oh my God. There was some pretty interesting and horrifying scenes in the movie. Bill Skarsgård is so creepy. He really is. So good. I hope, I don't hope typecasting on anyone, but I hope he does continue to pursue monster movies.
Did you ever check out Castle Rock on Hulu?
No, I haven't seen Castle Rock.
You should, because it's more Bill Skarsgård in Stephen King's universe.
That's fantastic.
It is.
I do need to see that.
I enjoyed it immensely. Check it out.
Right,
Everybody.
Hey.
Hulu, here for sponsorships.
But yeah, I mean, if he does any other monster movie with even a quarter of the emphasis that he did for it'd be amazing. And I think he'd be up there with Doug Jones for me.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I was like, would really enjoy seeing them in a movie together.
Yeah. That'd be so good.
Guillermo del Toro.
Yes. Apparently there was a whole scene with Guillermo del Toro that was in the movie that they cut out of the first one.
Huh.
He was supposed to be the janitor that the new kid, I'm blanking on his name.
Ben?
Yeah, Ben. Bumps into underneath the library.
Right.
That was supposed to be Guillermo del Toro, and that scene was supposed to be like 15 minutes long.
Sure.
With that. And apparently there's conflict of scheduling, and they had to replace him with just an extra, and they cut that whole scene. But
bummer.
That would have been interesting.
Felt a bit indulgent unless it was really well written.
Yeah. But speaking of cameos, Stephen King's in this movie.
He sure is.
And I loved his little bit. Because it was a total dig on Stephen King. Like, you're a fancy writer. You can afford this. It's like, oh. Like, you want me to sign your book? Nah, I didn't like the ending. I was like, oh. That was interesting. Because that Bill's character is essentially a caricature of Stephen King.
Right.
And just them ragging on all his endings being terrible. Felt very self-referential and funny to me. So I see that you've got a lot of notes.
Just trying to read them, honestly. I've been so busy.
Yeah.
That I haven't been able to read these since I wrote them.
How many shows are you working on right now?
Guess what?
What?
As of midnight, 1.
Holy crap.
But on this one show, in addition to costuming the whole thing, I'm also designing sets and puppetry.
Oh my god. So what you're saying is you reduced your shows, but increased your workload.
Yes, that is correct.
Bless you. Bless you, child.
Everyone come see Frozen Jr. at McLaughlin Theater Company in November.
Hashtag not sponsored. But we'll take it.
That's true.
We're petty enough to take any sponsorships.
So yeah, I'm just literally trying to read these. That's what's happening. I'm not fixating on a single one so I can talk about it. I'm trying to decipher this written in total darkness chicken scratch.
I'm still really impressed that you're able to write notes in darkness in a theater. Like, that's crazy. I would not be able to read mine.
Well, sometimes I can't. But also I've been developing this skill for years now because I have to write notes in tech rehearsals as well, where it's dark in the house.
Something that I wanted to bring up. I'm pretty sure when we reviewed it, the first chapter, we talked about how impressive it was that, what's his name? Jaden Martell, who plays Bill, was able to get the stutter.
Yeah.
Like, to do the stutter. And there were so many emotionally intense scenes that just got so harrowing because James McAvoy
Well, James McAvoy's a fucking god.
It just, not only did he portray the base aspects and characteristics of the character Bill set up by Jaden, but then to have those also with the stutter and stammer during harrowing scenes, he's so
incredible.
Impressive.
Every time I see him in something, it's like, you're aware it's James McAvoy. So he's not like the same